Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Dr. Amara Okafor works as a doctor in London. She helps many patients at a large hospital. Dr. Okafor came from Nigeria, where she completed her medical studies. In London, she earns a good salary and finds great success. She saves lives and contributes to new medical knowledge. But Dr. Okafor's success has another side for Nigeria. The hospital where she trained now has few doctors. Many sick people, especially children, do not get the medical help they need. Nigeria invested money in her education. Now her skills benefit another country. This is a global issue known as brain drain. It means educated and skilled people leave their home countries. They often move to richer nations for better work and more chances. For the individual, this move is often positive. They find personal success and good opportunities. However, for their home country, it is a big loss. The country loses valuable people who could help it grow. It is as if rich countries get talent without paying for its schooling. This makes it harder for less wealthy nations to develop. This book will explore this problem. We will see how it affects nations worldwide. We will also learn how some countries have managed to get their skilled citizens to return, turning a brain drain into a brain gain. 2. A long time ago. After many countries became free from colonial rule, a new problem started. This was in the 1950s and 1960s. These new countries in Africa and Asia needed smart, educated people to help them grow. But many of these people started to leave. For example, after India became independent in 1947, it had many doctors. But in just 2 decades, over 12,000 Indian doctors moved to the United States and the United Kingdom. This was about 1/3 of all their doctors. Other countries, like Ghana and Nigeria, also lost many skilled workers, such as nurses and engineers. Teachers also left to find work abroad. Leaders in these new countries were worried. Julius Nyerere, the first president of Tanzania, said his country was helping rich countries, not its own people. This was because rich countries got the educated workers that Tanzania had paid to train. This first big movement of educated people was very hard for new nations. Next, the Cold War began. This was a time when the United States and the Soviet Union wanted to be stronger than each other. They both saw that smart students from other countries could help them. So, they started giving special scholarships to attract the best minds. The United States offered programs like the Fulbright program. Thousands of students from Africa, Asia, and Latin America came to study in American universities. They received money for their studies and living costs. The Soviet Union opened universities like the Patrice Lumumba People's Friendship University in Moscow, also offering full scholarships to international students. The American way often led to students staying in the U.S. after finishing school. They found good jobs and a better life. This created clear paths for talented people to move from poorer countries to richer ones forever. This competition for talent helped shape how the brain drain works even now. 3. New jobs, new moves. After the 1970s, rich countries started to look for special workers. They needed doctors, nurses, and engineers. These skills were very important around the world. The United Kingdom needed many doctors for its health service. Britain looked for doctors in countries like India and Pakistan. These countries had medical schools similar to Britain's. Agents offered jobs, quick visas, and housing help. By 1975, over 40% of young doctors in Britain were from other countries, mostly from India and Pakistan. These doctors often took jobs British doctors did not want. This helped Britain, but it weakened healthcare in India and Pakistan, leading to too few doctors in their villages. At the same time, the Philippines started to send nurses all over the world. The government saw a big need for nurses abroad, but few good jobs at home. So it helped train nurses and find them overseas jobs. By 1980, over 25,000 Filipino nurses worked abroad, sending money home. This way of sending workers abroad also grew to include teachers, sailors, and house helpers. In the 1990s, the Internet and new computer technologies changed everything. There was a big need for tech workers, like computer scientists. India became a main source. India had invested in good technology schools, such as the Indian Institutes of Technology, IITs. American tech companies needed skilled workers, so they looked to India. The H-1B visa program allowed skilled workers to come to America. Between 1990 and 2000, over 100,000 Indian tech workers moved to the United States. Many also went to Europe and Australia. By the year 2000, nearly 40% of all H-1B visa holders were from India. Most worked in Silicon Valley. Companies like Microsoft and Google hired thousands of Indian engineers. Many later became permanent residents in America. Other countries with strong tech education also saw many skilled workers move to Western countries. This new demand for tech skills made the brain drain problem much faster and bigger globally. 4. The system today. Today, the way skilled people move from poorer to richer countries is a big system. It usually starts with education. Universities in rich countries make a lot of money from students who come from other parts of the world. These international students pay much higher fees than local students, sometimes 3 or 4 times more. This financial gain makes universities actively seek students from abroad. These universities, often in places like the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, look for the brightest young minds in countries such as India, Nigeria, and Brazil. They seek the top students, the ones their home countries need most. Families in poorer nations often make great sacrifices to pay for this education. They might sell homes or take big loans, hoping their children will find good jobs and send money back. However, the system often encourages these students to stay in the richer country. After finishing studies, these nations offer work permits, usually for a few years. If graduates find a skilled job, they can then apply for permanent residency. After years of studying and working, these young people build new lives, make friends, and earn much more money than they could at home. This makes it very difficult for them to return. This process means poor countries pay to educate workers, but rich countries get to use these trained professionals for free. For example, training a doctor in Nigeria costs the government about $65,000. When that doctor moves to the United Kingdom, Britain gains a fully trained professional without any training cost. The World Bank estimates that African countries lose around $4.6 billion each year in training costs just from healthcare workers moving to wealthier nations. Rich countries also use this system to solve their own problems. Many wealthier nations have aging populations and need more young workers. Countries like Japan, Germany, and Canada require more people for jobs. Instead of training many more of their own citizens, they invite young, educated workers from other parts of the world. For instance, Canada's immigration system favors young people with good education and work experience. This way, rich countries gain skilled workers who are ready to contribute without the long investment of basic education. So the modern system creates a path where valuable talent moves from countries that desperately need it to countries that are already rich. This helps rich nations stay strong, but it makes it harder for poorer countries to grow their economies and improve life for their citizens. 5. Two big problems. Many developing countries face two large problems because their skilled workers leave. One big problem is poor health care in Africa. Many doctors and nurses from countries like Ghana and Zimbabwe leave their homes. They go to richer countries for better jobs and pay. This means there are not enough medical workers for their own people. In Ghana, a country in West Africa, about 60% of doctors trained since 2010 have left. This is a very high number. Ghana has only about 4,000 doctors for its millions of people. This means there is only one doctor for every 8,000 people. The World Health Organization says there should be one doctor for every 1,000 people. So many people do not get the medical help they need. Over 2,000 Ghanaian doctors now work in the United Kingdom. Zimbabwe faces a similar hard situation. In 2000, Zimbabwe had 1,200 doctors. Today, fewer than 400 doctors are left in the country. Most have gone to the United Kingdom, South Africa, or Australia. Because of this, many mothers died during childbirth. The number of mothers dying has increased from 390 to over 650 for every 100,000 births. Africa loses about $1.3 billion in training costs for doctors alone over 10 years. This loss of trained people makes it hard to fight diseases like HIV/AIDS and malaria and to provide basic care. The second big problem is in Latin America, where many engineers leave. This makes it hard for these countries to build new industries and grow their economies. For example, Carlos Mendoza was a top engineering student in Colombia, but he found few good jobs in his country. He earned only about $800 a month. So he moved to the United States and found a job that paid $85,000 a year. His skills now help another country. Brazil trains about 40,000 engineers every year, but more than one-third of them, especially those with advanced degrees, leave Brazil within 10 years. They go to countries like the United States or Canada. These engineers help other nations build advanced cars or airplanes. This means Brazil cannot use their skills to develop its own high-value industries. The country continues to focus on simpler goods like raw materials and basic manufacturing. Argentina also loses many engineers. 40% of its new engineers leave within 5 years. Because of this, Argentina struggles to create new technology companies. Mexico trains over 100,000 engineers yearly. However, many of these engineers work on basic assembly lines in Mexico. If they want to work on advanced projects, they often move to the United States. When engineers leave, their home countries cannot build new products or develop new technologies. This stops economic growth and keeps these countries from becoming rich. 6. The story of India. India has a special story about people leaving the country to work. It loses more skilled workers than any other country in the world. Many engineers, doctors, and IT professionals go to other countries. For example, over 200,000 skilled Indian people move abroad every year. Most of them go to places like the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. In Silicon Valley, a big tech area in America, more than 300,000 people of Indian origin work in technology companies. These include top companies like Google and Microsoft. The Reserve Bank of India, a government bank, estimates that India loses billions of dollars each year because of this. This money was spent on their education. However, India's story is not just about loss. It also gets a lot of money sent back home. Indian people working in other countries send over $100 billion to India every year. This is the biggest amount of money sent back to any country in the world, helping many families and the country's economy. Also, Indian workers living abroad have greatly helped India's own technology companies. Large companies like Infosys, TCS, and Wipro grew into global businesses. They did this by connecting with Indian engineers and tech experts in places like Silicon Valley. These connections brought new technology and business ideas to India. Now, India's own IT industry is very big, employing millions of people and earning a lot of money each year. This process is sometimes called brain circulation. It means that some Indian professionals who left for work or study eventually return to India. They come back with new skills, money, and important connections they made abroad. About 25% of Indians who moved away eventually come back home. These returnees often start new businesses or take on important jobs in India. For example, some have founded very successful companies like Flipkart and Ola. This helps India's economy grow and creates many new jobs for others. Despite these positive points, India still faces difficulties. Many of its most talented people, especially those from top schools like the Indian Institutes of Technology, still leave. The healthcare sector in India also needs more doctors, but many Indian-trained doctors work in other countries. So, while India benefits in some ways, the movement of its skilled people remains a complex issue. 7. Ways to help. Poor countries can do many things to help keep their smart people at home. First, they need to fight against corruption. When things are fair and hard work is rewarded, people want to stay. Second, these countries should create better jobs and build new industries. Countries like South Korea and Taiwan did this by making high-value products. This gave their educated people good reasons to stay and work. It is also important for poor countries to invest in good research centers and modern tools. Scientists and engineers want to work with the best equipment and learn new things. If they have good places to work, they are less likely to leave. Also, schools and universities should teach skills that are useful for jobs in their own country. This way, students can find good work at home after they finish studying. Rich countries also have a role to play. They should be more fair in how they get workers from poor countries. The World Health Organization has rules that say rich countries should not actively try to hire doctors and nurses from countries that need them badly. But many rich countries still do this. This is not fair because it takes away people needed for local health care. A big idea is that rich countries should pay for the training of the skilled workers they take. For example, if a doctor from Nigeria goes to work in the United Kingdom could pay Nigeria for the cost of that doctor's education. This money could then help Nigeria train more doctors or improve its hospitals. This way, poor countries get something back for their investment. Finally, countries can use people living abroad to help their home country. This is called brain circulation. China and India have done this well. They encourage their people who live abroad to come back, even for a short time, to share new skills and ideas. They also ask them to invest money or help start new businesses back home. Technology can help too. People can work remotely or share knowledge online from anywhere. This way, skilled people can still help their home country even if they live far away. 8. A final question. Brain drain is a big problem for poor countries. They lose many skilled people like doctors, engineers, and teachers. These people often leave for richer countries, seeking better jobs and lives. Poor countries spend much money to educate these workers. But these trained people then go to other nations. This means poor countries do not use the skills they paid for, which stops their growth. It is a hard cycle to break. When skilled people leave, their home countries cannot build enough hospitals, schools, or new businesses. They lack experts to improve services or create new jobs. This makes it very hard for a poor country to become richer or stronger. People have the right to choose where to live and work. We should not stop them from moving. But the current system for skilled migration is not fair. It helps rich countries grow by taking talent from poor ones. This makes the gap between rich and poor countries bigger, leading to global inequality. The answer is not to close borders. Instead, we need a fair system for everyone. We must balance a person's right to move with their home country's need to develop. This means all countries should benefit from global talent movement, not just a few. Think about this. What do you believe is the single most important change to help solve the brain drain problem?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.